Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome everyone to today's explainer. We are going to completely dismantle some of the biggest, most stubborn fitness excuses holding people back today. We're drawing our insights from a really brilliant breakdown by creator Yellow Dude, who tackles the harsh reality of starting a fitness journey from absolute zero. If you've ever felt like getting in shape is just way too complicated, too expensive, or honestly completely out of reach, this explainer is designed precisely for you. We're going to systematically break down how you can start a highly effective calisthenics routine today with absolutely nothing but your own body weight and a little bit of structure. Now, I want you to be completely honest with yourself for a second. How often have you had that internal monologue? You know the one, where you're scrolling through fitness content thinking, man, I should really work out, but I definitely can't afford a fancy gym, or I'm way too out of shape to even attempt that. Maybe you just feel generally miserable about your current fitness level and don't even know where the starting line is. Well, the source material calls these out for exactly what they are: garbage excuses. We all have them, sure, but they are entirely based on a massive misconception of what fitness actually requires. So the creator completely flips the script here, pointing out a super powerful realization: being out of shape is absolutely not a barrier. In fact, it's the perfect starting point. Why? Because calisthenics, bodyweight training, scales perfectly to whatever level you are currently at. You really don't need to be one of those shredded, elite athletes doing handstands in the park to begin. You just start exactly where you are, and the resistance naturally scales with your own body.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, ditching the excuses. Second, the PPL training structure. Third, how to progress safely. Fourth, nutrition and recovery basics. And finally, cellular optimization and energy.
Section 1. Ditching the excuses. Zero gear needed. We are killing the money excuse right out of the gate. The fitness industry has done an incredibly good job of marketing the idea that you need complex, industrial machines or some $100 a month gym membership to get fit, but we're stripping all of that away today. The reality of getting in shape is actually incredibly boring, but in the best way possible. If you thought you needed literal engine parts from a Jeep to build muscle, you're totally mistaken. The minimalist gear setup comes down to this: a sturdy chair, a bar, which could be a cheap door frame bar, a pull-up bar at your local park, or even just an improvised sturdy table. And finally, the ground. That's the whole shebang. So if you were leaning on the "I don't have the equipment" excuse, consider it officially dismantled. You have the ground, right?
Section 2. The PPL training structure. Push, pull, legs.
Now that we have our non-existent equipment sorted out, what do we actually do with it? This brings us right to the core framework of the workout. The source strongly advises against doing those insane viral internet challenges. Like, please don't just do 100 push-ups a day. That is not a real calisthenics program. Instead, you need a structured full-body routine, ideally spread across 3 to 4 days a week. So the crucial point is utilizing what's called a PPL split. PPL stands for push, pull, legs. By breaking your body down into these specific movement categories, you train highly efficiently and completely prevent burnout. On push days, you do push-ups to hit your chest, shoulders, and triceps. On pull days, you use rows or pull-ups for your back and biceps. And on leg days, you focus on squats and lunges for your quads, hamstrings, and calves. Throw in some core work like planks, and boom, you have a complete, perfectly balanced system. When you map out your starting sets versus your goal sets, volume is usually where people get a bit confused. For large muscle groups, think your chest, back, and legs, you want to start with 6 to 8 sets per week, eventually building up to 14 to 18 sets. For smaller muscles, like your shoulders, biceps, and core, start with 4 to 6 sets, aiming for 8 to 12 later on. But here is an absolute game changer of a tip from the source. Compound movements count for multiple groups. A set of push-ups doesn't just count as one set for your chest, it actually counts as half a set for your triceps and shoulders too. So don't just blindly stack massive amounts of volume, or you're going to burn yourself out before you even get started. Section 3. How to progress safely. Scaling the movements. So you've got your PPL split, you're hitting the ground 3 to 4 days a week, but how do you actually get stronger over time? Let's pivot to the concept of progression. First off, take a deep breath. You absolutely do not need to do a human flag on day 1. If you're new, you probably can't even do a standard push-up yet, and that is perfectly fine. Because calisthenics doesn't use weight plates that you can just slide onto a barbell, you have to systematically scale the movement itself to change the stimulus. The standard push-up pipeline perfectly illustrates this concept. If you can't do a regular push-up, start with step 1, knee push-ups. Once you master those, you graduate to regular push-ups. Then, to crank up the resistance, you move your hands closer together for diamond push-ups.
Finally, you elevate your feet for decline push-ups. You are constantly shifting to a harder variation to literally force your muscles to adapt.
And when exactly do you move to that harder variation? The magic number suggested here is 15. Research shows that doing high reps, even up to 30 reps per set, can still trigger muscle growth if you really push yourself to failure. But honestly, doing endless reps just becomes highly inefficient. The source recommends aiming for a maximum of 15 reps. Once you can comfortably hit 15 reps of a specific movement, congratulations, it's time to bump up to the next difficulty level.
Section 4. Nutrition and Recovery Basics. Abs made in the kitchen. Now, let's shift our focus to the kitchen and the bedroom. You can do the absolute perfect PPL split, but this phase right here is the make or break territory where about 90% of people unfortunately fail. Why? Because people really don't like hearing that abs are made in the kitchen. The very foundation of your nutrition is your BMR, or basal metabolic rate. This is the baseline number of calories your body burns every single day, literally just by existing and keeping your organs running. Before you plan a single meal, you need to know this number. The creators suggest just doing a quick search for a BMR calculator, plugging in your age, height, weight, and selecting sedentary for your activity level. It takes 30 seconds. Or honestly, you can just ask an AI tool to calculate this and build a plan for you, which, as the source points out, is likely way better than whatever we'd come up with on our own.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how manipulating your diet relative to that BMR completely dictates your physical transformation. If your goal is gaining muscle, you need a caloric surplus, meaning you're eating more than your BMR while keeping your protein high and increasing carbs for that extra energy. But if your goal is losing fat, you need a caloric deficit, eating less than your BMR while keeping protein high and cutting those carbs. Notice what stays exactly the same no matter the goal: high protein.
I want to pause on this specific quote because it's a harsh but absolutely necessary truth. Hitting your calorie goals is great, but if you're hitting them by just eating olive oil and peanut butter, you are actively sabotaging your muscle growth. Protein is the actual building block that repairs the muscle tissue. Without it, you're putting in all that physical effort just to become a skinny person who happens to be really good at push-ups.
Now, the other half of recovery happens when your eyes are closed. 7 to 9. That is the target hours of sleep you need every single night. And ideally, you want to be asleep before midnight. Here is the ultimate, undeniable truth of fitness. Muscle does not grow in the gym, or in this case, on your living room floor. It grows in your bed while you're fast asleep. If you train hard and eat perfectly, but you neglect your sleep, your progress is going to completely stall.
Section 5. Cellular optimization and energy. Optimize at the cell level.
Okay, let's move to our final pillar. If you are already nailing the basic structure, the workouts, the progression, the protein, the sleep, there is an advanced step to consider. The source material features a sponsor segment focusing on cellular optimization, specifically using a compound called urolithin A, found in Timeline's MitoPure gummies. What's fascinating here is the actual science behind why we feel fatigued. It's not just about your overall fitness level, it's about cellular aging. As you get older, your mitochondria, those tiny little power plants inside your cells, actually decline in their ability to produce energy. This is exactly why you might feel slower or weaker. The creator notes that research on urolithin A shows it actively helps repair these cellular power plants. It is clinically proven to renew aging cells, providing more energy and healthier aging from the microscopic level all the way up. 12%. The clinical data behind this is actually pretty wild. Studies highlighted in the source showed a 12% increase in muscle strength over a 16-week period of using this compound. And the crazy part? That 12% increase happened without any change in the participants' exercise routines. It's not magic. It's not an overnight fix. It is just better cellular health, allowing your body to naturally optimize the hard work you're already putting in. So let's step back and look at the big picture. We've completely stripped away the excuses about money and gear. You understand the PPL framework to efficiently hit every single muscle group. You know how to safely scale your exercises so you are always progressing. You have the formula for your BMR and the absolute golden rule of protein. You even know how to optimize your energy on a cellular level. You have literally every single tool required. The only variable left in this equation is you. Will you actually commit to the ground, the chair, and the bar consistently enough to see your own transformation? Because really, that's the only question that matters now. Dive in, start simple, and let's see where this blueprint takes you.